Melody shared so many exciting updates about her arrival in New York for Fashion Week, the prep for her SAB runway show, and even some personal insights that give us a glimpse into her mindset, her team, and her family. Stick around until the very end because there's so much to unpack. From behind-the-scenes details to lessons that you can take into your own life. Melody started off by sharing her excitement about SAB hitting the runway the very next day. She was genuinely thrilled, and you could feel that energy coming through the screen. She talked about how doors are opening and opportunities are unfolding, and how every moment like this is something to celebrate. She encouraged viewers to recognize that excitement and possibility, and to cherish the moments when your hard work gets the recognition it deserves. Melody's positivity is infectious, and you'll see just how she channels that energy not only into her career, but also into preparing her team and her family for big moments. One of the first things Melody shared was about her team, Tank and Mariah. She talked about how they helped pack everything for the models, making sure every piece was ready for the runway. She said it was amazing to watch them step up, handle responsibilities, and be so invested in the growth of SAB. This isn't just about logistics, it's about teaching her kids the value of teamwork, dedication, and seeing the bigger picture. Melody emphasized that when children understand why things matter, they work harder and give their best effort. And this is a lesson she has carried over from her years as a teacher. She even shared stories from her teaching days about how explaining the reasons behind tasks helped her students succeed, which is exactly the approach she applies with Tank and Mariah. Melody went into detail about the packing process, and it was impressive. She made it clear that she didn't drop any SAB runway items into the suitcase herself. Instead, she'll let Tank and Mariah take full responsibility, showing them how to handle each item carefully and ensuring that everything for the models was included. From tumblers to athleisure sets, tank tops, sports bras, and sweatshirts. Her children were completely engaged and showed such maturity in completing the task. Melody even shared a cute moment when Tank made a small mistake with the sports bras and tank tops, and how he immediately corrected it after Melody clarified. It was a perfect example of teaching responsibility while letting her kids learn from real experiences. Miss Deborah was already in New York when Melody spoke, and she confirmed that all of the prep was on track. Melody shared how her children were excited to be part of the process. Even if they couldn't travel with her this time because of school, she reassured them that she would share plenty of pictures and videos so they could still feel involved. And you could see how much they appreciated the opportunity to contribute and be trusted. This is such an important insight because it highlights Melody's belief in giving her children meaningful experiences, even when they're not physically present at every event. Next, Melody gave a sneak peek into the reception she had that evening in New York, where designers, team members, and collaborators would meet and network before the big runway show. She was excited to connect with everyone and share the vision of SAB. And she emphasized how events like this are not just about showcasing fashion, they're about building relationships, learning, and creating opportunities for everyone involved. She wanted viewers to understand that success isn't just about showing up on stage. It's about preparation, planning, and bringing people together. Melody also spoke about her upcoming Mega TikTok Live event scheduled for the 20th of September. She highlighted new product drops, including rose soaps, peach body elixirs, and other SAB items, and she encouraged everyone to attend, get involved, and support the live event. Melody was genuinely excited about sharing these products with her fans, signing soaps live, and packing orders on camera. She made it clear that these events are about more than just selling products. They're about creating experiences, connecting with her audience, and celebrating the growth of SAB in fun and engaging ways. A really interesting part of the live was when Melody reflected on her philosophy of giving children experiences that last a lifetime. She talked about how money comes and goes, but experiences are lasting memories. She shared examples of trips she has taken her children on, from Los Angeles to St. Thomas and soon Puerto Rico, and how these experiences help her kids understand the world, build confidence, and create lasting memories. Melody is very intentional about including Tank and Mariah in her journey. teaching them about life, responsibility, and the excitement of achieving goals together. She also reminded parents watching to always communicate with their children. Melody emphasized the importance of explaining why you're doing what you're doing, keeping them in the loop and helping them understand the bigger picture. According to her, this not only motivates children, but also teaches them the value of effort, preparation, and dedication. By sharing her personal experience as a teacher and a mother, she reinforced that understanding leads to engagement, growth, and responsibility. Melody described how organized her team was and how proud she felt watching Tank and Mariah handle the packing. She spoke about how they managed every detail, remembered instructions, and stayed on task. From suitcases to crossbody bags and totes, everything was packed correctly and with care. Even when Melody didn't explicitly tell them to pack specific items, like the pink tote, her team made sure everything was prepared perfectly for the runway. This was a proud moment for her as a mother, showing that teaching responsibility and trust can have amazing results. Throughout the live, Melody kept referring to her excitement and the joy of seeing SAB grow. She highlighted the importance of celebrating milestones. Whether it's hitting the runway at Fashion Week, planning a TikTok live, or launching new products, she emphasized that these moments are not just about professional success, they're about growth, learning, and creating memories that will last a lifetime. Melody's energy was inspiring, and she encouraged viewers to apply this mindset in their own lives, whether in business, family, or personal goals. Melody also gave a glimpse into her planning for the Mega TikTok Live, where fans can expect interactive content, new product launches, and live engagement. She explained the importance of preparation, scheduling, and thinking about the audience experience, showing her viewers that every detail matters. Her message was clear: whether it's a fashion show, a product launch, or a live event, careful preparation and planning lead to success. Melody highlighted that her team, including Kava's and Miss Di, already being in New York or handling other tasks, shows how coordination, trust, and teamwork are key to making everything run smoothly. One of the hooks Melody repeatedly emphasized was the idea of sharing experiences with children and letting them participate in meaningful work. She encouraged parents to involve their kids in projects, show them why tasks matter, and help them see the results of their effort. She believes that when children are involved, they learn accountability, teamwork, and responsibility, which are lessons that go far beyond any classroom or formal education. Her personal examples with Tank and Mariah illustrated this perfectly, showing how kids can rise to the occasion when given trust and guidance. Melody also shared moments of joy and humor from the packing process, talking about small mix-ups with clothing items or bags and how her kids corrected them quickly. These lighthearted moments added relatability to her message and showed that even in high-pressure environments like Fashion Week prep, there's room for learning, laughter, and growth. Melody made it clear that supporting her children, guiding them through challenges, and celebrating their successes is just as important as the fashion show itself. She spoke about the reception that evening in New York and the excitement of meeting designers and collaborators, highlighting how networking, relationship building, and being present are vital parts of professional growth. Melody also gave viewers a sense of anticipation for the runway show the following day, reminding everyone that these experiences are the culmination of preparation, planning, and teamwork. Her approach made it clear that success is not just about the moment on stage, but about the journey and the lessons learned along the way. Melody wrapped up her live by giving more details about the upcoming Mega TikTok Live. She shared product drops, including her lavender and rose soaps, peach body elixirs, and other new items. She explained how fans could register, participate, and enjoy interactive content, making it clear that this is a chance to connect, celebrate, and be part of the SAB community. Melody emphasized preparation and organization, showing that success comes from planning, communication, and attention to detail. Finally, Melody's energy throughout the live was incredibly uplifting. She inspired viewers with her excitement for SAB's runway, her approach to parenting, and her philosophy of creating meaningful experiences. She encouraged parents to involve their children, celebrate opportunities, and prioritize experiences over material items. She showed the importance of planning, preparation, and teamwork, whether in family life, business, or personal goals. Now, let me ask you something. If you saw someone you love being taken away in handcuffs, how would you react? That's what makes Letitia's live stream so unforgettable. When she went live, she wasn't thinking about the cameras or about how she looked. She was thinking about Marcel, about what would happen to him, and about how she could do anything at all to help him. Her tears weren't just sadness. They were fear, heartbreak, and desperation all rolled into one, and that's why people couldn't look away. Letitia's words resonated with millions. She didn't give us legal jargon or complicated explanations. She gave us her heart. She told viewers about her pain, about her worries, and about the toll this was taking on her. She begged for mercy. She begged for understanding. And in that moment, she wasn't just Marsa's partner, she was the voice of everyone who has ever been terrified of losing someone they love. That's why her plea went viral, why hashtags began trending, and why supporters all over the world began speaking out. But here's something most people don't know. Letitia's live stream wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. Yes, she was desperate, but she also knew that by going live she could rally support, draw attention, and create pressure on the people in power. It was an emotional plea, but it was also a smart move. She humanized Marcel, reminded the world that behind the headlines, he was a real person, and showed that she would stand by him no matter what. And that combination of emotion and strategy made her broadcast unforgettable. Meanwhile, the internet was divided. Some fans rushed to support Marcel and Letitia, sharing prayers, kind words, and even offers of legal help. Others criticized, saying that crying online wouldn't change the outcome of an FBI investigation. And still others speculated wildly about what Marcel could have possibly done to get arrested at this level. Remember, this wasn't a traffic ticket. This wasn't a simple dispute. This was the FBI, and when they show up, it means the situation is serious. The timing of the arrest also raised eyebrows. Why now? What made the FBI decide that this was the moment? Insiders say the operation had been carefully planned for months, maybe longer. Everything from where Marcel would be to who was with him was taken into account. Federal agents are trained to move in at the exact right moment, when they can control the situation and make sure nothing goes wrong. So while it felt sudden to fans, it was anything but sudden to the authorities. Now, here's where things get really interesting. While Letitia was breaking down live, insiders were saying that this was only the beginning, that more developments could come, more charges could be revealed, and more shocking details could surface. And that's why people can't stop watching this story unfold. Because every day feels like it could bring a new twist, a new headline, or a new revelation that changes everything. Letitia's reaction also made people see her in a new light. For months, she had been known mostly for her connection to Marcel, for their social media posts, for their appearances together. But in that moment, she stepped into her own spotlight. She became the face of this story, the person everyone looked to for updates, the one carrying the emotional weight of this situation. And whether you love her or criticize her, you can't deny that her courage to go live and bare her soul made this story bigger than anyone expected. As days passed after the arrest, the internet didn't quiet down, it got louder. Fans created hashtags demanding justice, organizing virtual vigils, and even reaching out to news outlets to push the story further. Every post, every tweet, every video added to the growing storm around Marcel and Letitia. And yet, through it all, one thing remained clear. Nobody really knew what would happen next. This is where the story takes on another layer. Because while fans are debating online, the reality is that Marcel is facing a federal investigation. And that means the stakes are high. If the FBI has evidence, this could lead to charges, trials, and very real consequences. Legal experts point out that federal cases are not quick and they are not easy. They involve months of hearings, negotiations, and court dates. And while Letitia's livestream may have shaped public opinion, the final decisions will be made in a courtroom, not on social media. But don't click away yet, because here's the part that makes this story even more compelling. Insiders are already whispering that there may be more to come. More evidence, more people involved, more surprises that could turn this case upside down. And if that happens, it won't just affect Marcette, will affect Letitia, their family, and everyone connected to them. That's why people are glued to their screens waiting for the next update. And this is what makes this story bigger than just an arrest. It's about love, loyalty, fear, and resilience. It's about a woman who lived to share her pain with the world, and in doing so, became part of a global conversation. It's about a man whose life was turned upside down in an instant, and now faces a future filled with uncertainty. And it's about the power of social media to take a private heartbreak and turn it into a public movement. So stay with me until the very end, because what happens next in this story could change everything. Will Marsa face charges that alter his life forever? Will Letitia's emotional pleas shift public perception in his favor? Will more shocking revelations come to light? One thing is certain, this story is far from over. And as we continue to follow every twist and turn, we'll be here to break it all down, moment by moment, so you don't miss a single detail. And remember this, sometimes the stories that shock us the most are the ones that teach us the most about love, loyalty, and the lengths we'll go to for the people we care about. So don't go anywhere, because what's coming next in the saga of Marsa and Letitia is something you will not want to miss. Let me ask you a question before we dive into this. Have you ever seen somebody try so hard to clean up their image, to patch things up with old friends, and yet at the same time, they say something that makes you stop and wonder if they really mean it? That's exactly what we're looking at right now when it comes to Martell Holt. And trust me, you're going to want to stay with me all the way until the very end of this video, because the twists and turns in this story are going to leave you completely shocked. What Martell said, who he said it to, and the way he said it tells us so much about where his head really is. So stick with me, because you don't want to miss a single detail. Now, let's get into it. Martell sat there and made it clear that he wants to fix things with Marceau. That's right. After all the fights, all the accusations, all the drama that's played out in front of us for years, Martell actually said that he wants to make it work with Marceau. And if you've been watching closely, you already know that's not just some throwaway statement. Because Martell is not the type of man who says he wants peace unless there's something else going on behind the scenes. You feel me? And here's where it gets interesting. Martell made it clear that there are boundaries he expects to be respected. He said it himself, plain and simple. You don't want me to talk about Tisha because she's your wife. I don't want you to talk about Ariane because she's my woman. Did you catch that? Did you hear the way he said it? Because if you blinked, you might have missed it. Martell didn't just say Ariane Curry's name. He didn't just mention her in passing. He claimed her, calling her his woman. After all this time, after all the drama between him and Melody Shari, after all the cheating scandals, the public humiliation, the endless fights over custody and image, Martell looked Marceau in the eye and defended Ariane like she was sitting right there next to him. That moment right there told us everything. And I'm telling you right now, if you stay with me till the end of this video, we're going to break down not just what Martell said, but what it really means for him, for Melody, for Marceau and Tisha, and even for Morris. But let's slow down for a second, because I want you to think about this. Martell is sitting there saying he wants peace with Marceau, that he wants things to go back to how they used to be. And yet, he's drawing a line in the sand by openly defending Ariane Curry. Can you imagine how that must have landed? Marceau doesn't want Martell talking about Tisha, because Tisha is his wife, his family, his respect. And in the same breath, Martell says Ariane is his woman. That's not just words, that's Martell trying to rewrite the whole narrative. That's him saying to Marceau, if you get to protect your household, then I get to protect mine. And the way he said it, the way he owned it, made it clear he's not backing down. Now, what makes this even more fascinating is how little Martell had to say about Maurice. Did you notice that? He brushed past Morris like it was nothing, saying they treat each other like brothers, that they play football together, and that's about it. No real drama, no real shade, no real issue. Morris was barely part of the conversation. And that tells us that Maurice is not the one Martell is trying to win over. No, it's Marceau he wants back on his side. It's Marceau he misses. And that right there, my friends, is the real headline. Right there, my friends, is the real headline.